another. Mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We're back live, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the hottest books he has ever written. It's put out by a major publisher. It deals with something that I cover in my film, Martial Law, 911 Rise of the Police State. That's really 3 films. It's 3 hours long. It gets into the police state in 2004 at the RNC, the sound cannons, the blimps, the police, the FEMA camp they put people in. Second part gets into 9/11, and the third part, the Nazi occult roots. And his new book is The Rise of the Fourth Reich, Jim Mars. And he's taken it even further than the research we got at the National Archives, Library of Congress. He's been researching this for years. He had to keep it under wraps. It was under embargo until the book came out. It is now out. By the way, we have it available in stock at Infowars.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. You can also write to us. You can also go to Jim Mars' website and get it, and it's in bookstores all over the place. It is bombshell, to say the least. He joins us for the next 50 minutes. Jim Mars, it is a real pleasure to have you on with us.
Hey, Alex, it's always good to be with you.
So much is going on. So much is happening. Let's just start at the beginning and give people as much info and some of the exclusive scoops you got for this book, and then people need to get it and show it to everyone they know. Break down the entire, there's a lot of elements to this New World Order, but a central one, running throughout the core of it didn't start with Hitler, is this death cult aspect, Order of the Death's Head. And you have written the new definitive work on this with a lot of new original research. Jim, amazing new book. Tell people about the rise of the Fourth Reich.
Okay. Well, I think it's kind of summed up here on page 323, where I write that while it's true that the families that originated the wealthy elite in America, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Schiffs, the Warburgs, the Harrimans, the Bushes, have in recent years lost some of their previous influence, their giant global enterprises today remain as powerful as ever, maintaining all the functions for which they were first organized. This mechanism today has been brought under the control of fascist globalists who created both communism and then National Socialism, and they've done this in America by using the wealth brought from Europe through the Nazi rat lines. In other words, the same people and the same corporations, the same companies, the same families, the same Wall Street financiers who bankrolled and supported communism in Russia so that they could play that off against the capitalistic West. Communism threatened to get out of hand. It threatened to go worldwide, and they didn't want that because they want the turmoil and the wars and the conflict that can be created between nations so they can pit one nation against another for maximum control and profit. So they created National Socialism in pre-war Germany. And National Socialism, you have to understand, the acronym of which is Nazi. They took the NA from National and the ZI from Sozialistic in the German, and that's where the word Nazi comes from. They are National Socialist, and what we have in America today is National Socialism. Of course, they don't call it that today. Today they call it neoconservatism. But what they've done is the same thing they did in pre-war Germany. They have appealed to the conservative, the true conservative elements of the population, and used that to ride into power and to push forward their National Socialist programs. It's like George W. Bush proclaimed himself a compassionate conservative, a neoconservative, and yet when he gets in office, he has accumulated more power to the presidency, more power to the central government. He has led us into unprovoked foreign wars. He has wrecked the economy. and he has propagated more socialistic programs probably than any other president.
The federal government
so you have to ask yourself what's going on.
The federal government has tripled in size. He's also effectively demonized, probably for decades, true conservatism, and now they give us the false solution, the left, which will only bring us deeper under the same control. And then we see the Straussian School of Economics up in Chicago, where the neocons come from, where they openly write and say, despite the fact a lot of them are Zionist, that they are using Nazi governing principles, from the black uniforms to the term Reich or land security, to the fascist symbols, the Nazi fasci, the hatchets on top of the bundle of sticks in the Senate, passing the Nazi gun control bills in the 68 Gun Control Act. They are using this model.
Absolutely, and let's listen to the words of the Nazi Luftwaffe commander Hermann Goering. He said this during the Nuremberg war crime trials. He said, "Why, of course, the people don't want war. That's understood. But after all, it's the leaders of the country who determine the policy, and it's always a simple matter to drag the people along, whether it's a democracy, a fascist dictatorship, or a parliament, or a communist dictatorship. Voice or no voice, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. This is easy. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked, and denounce the pacifists for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger." Doesn't that sound familiar?
And that's what Carroll Quigley said. He said, we control fascists, we control communists. The global banking establishment wants a system for the administrative convenience of the international banking elite, as Rockefeller has echoed, and that they work with anything that centralizes, and then they give the public false choices of centralized communism or centralized fascism, which are really the same thing dressed up different.
Exactly. In fact, National Socialism, by its very definition, is socialism, just as communism was an extreme form of socialism. They want socialism because any social program, no matter how good it may be, such as Social Security or No Child Left Behind, no matter whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, requires central administration, and they believe that they have the wealth and the power to control the central administration and thus control our lives, control the world. It's the age-old dream of greedy, ambitious people.
I have ABC News today saying all Americans with children will get CPS visits. You will get them to make sure you are a, quote, good parent. I have another report here, also out of ABC, where they are saying that when you pay for gas, you will have to show your ID and driver's license and be registered to buy gas. Everything is about being tracked and controlled. We are going in to an electronic straitjacket. And notice the Democrats, Conyers is trying to block a true hearing on impeachment now Friday. That's just out today. Big articles up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. You see the Democrats intend to use all this power George Bush has amassed for them.
Exactly. And my question is, what's the problem with impeachment? They impeach Bill Clinton for having sex, for gosh sakes. Can we impeach somebody when millions of people have died? And what's the problem? If they're innocent, I mean, impeachment is simply like a trial. So we have a trial, and they lay out all the evidence, and if the neocons can prove that they made a few mistakes, but basically they're doing everything as they should have, then what have they got to worry about? Why would they be concerned?
They are admittedly guilty on all of those 35 articles, minus the global warming one that Dennis Kucinich has brought forward. On the face, it's all felonies and lies and premeditated, and so it's open and shut, and that's why they can't allow an impeachment.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. That's kind of what I was getting at. If they really didn't have anything to worry about, if they were adhering to the law and to the Constitution, then they shouldn't have anything to worry about. And the fact that they're fighting tooth and toenail, even using some Democrats to try to stop any kind of impeachment hearing, shows that they're obviously guilty of sin.
Conyers and, of course, we have on top of that Pelosi, absolute monsters. Now, I want to go through the book. Obviously, people need to get the book, but you've got some bombshell stuff. For people that don't know, let's give them the basic history of the fascist idea, how they tried to overthrow the U.S., Smedley Butler, the Marine Corps commander, two-time Congressional Medal of Honor winner. The Brigadier General, refused to go along with that. he was about to become General Smedley Butler, the head of the Marine Corps, and wouldn't take it because they wanted him to lead a 500,000-man team. We have the McCormick-Dickstein committee hearings on all of that. I want to walk through this, through Bush Sr.'s daddy, Senator Prescott, right through to what we face today. In fact, let's start now, Jim.
Well, let's start with Germany early in January of 1933. It was a democratic republic. It was the Weimar Republic, just like we had at one time the Republic of the United States. And yet, before the end of the month, or I think it was February of 1933, their parliament building burned down, the Reichstag.
February 27th.
Yes.